There's a saying that blood is thicker than water, and for most of my life, I believed it wholeheartedly. I have a sister, Hannah, who is 2 years younger than me. We were always close growing up, sharing clothes, secrets, dreams, and the occasional fight over whose turn it was to use the bathroom. Our parents always said we were like two peas in a pod, and I guess in a lot of ways we were. We laughed together, cried together, and supported each other through the ups and downs of life. But behind the laughter, behind the smiles, there was a secret. A secret that, for the longest time, I kept from everyone, even from my own sister. My name is Lily, and this is the confession of the secret I kept from my sister, the secret that changed everything for both of us. It all started when we were kids. Hannah and I were inseparable. We spent every moment together, whether it was playing in the backyard, making up games, or just sitting on the floor of our shared room, talking about our hopes and fears. I remember feeling like I could tell her anything, that there was no topic off limits, but there was one thing I could never say out loud, one thing that I kept buried deep inside me for years. The truth is, I always felt a little bit different from my sister. She was everything I wasn't. She was outgoing, confident, and always surrounded by friends. People were drawn to her energy, her sense of humor, her easy charm. She was the life of the party, the one who could walk into any room and instantly light it up. And me, I was quiet, introverted, and often content to fade into the background. While Hannah was out making memories, I was often the one behind the scenes, watching and listening, wondering how she did it so effortlessly. But as much as I admired her, I also resented her a little. I wanted to be like her, wanted to be able to step into the spotlight without feeling like everyone was watching me. I wanted the attention, the praise, the love that seemed to come so naturally to her. And it wasn't just a matter of wanting to be noticed. It was deeper than that. I wanted to feel like I mattered, like I was special. But no matter how hard I tried, I always felt like I was living in her shadow. Looking back, I realize now that the jealousy I felt was more about my own insecurities than anything else. But at the time, it felt real. It felt like I wasn't enough, like I would always be in the background, always second best. And the more I tried to keep up, the more I felt like I was falling short. And then something happened that changed everything. It was the summer before our sophomore year of high school when I first noticed something was wrong with Hannah. It started small. She was quieter than usual, more withdrawn. She didn't hang out with her friends as much, and when she did, she seemed distant. I thought it was just a phase, something she'd grow out of, but it didn't go away. It only got worse. She started losing weight, not eating as much, and becoming more and more tired. I asked her if she was okay, but she just shrugged it off, saying she was fine, just stressed with schoolwork and life in general. But I knew her better than that. One night I came home late from a study session and found Hannah sitting in the dark in our shared room. The only light in the room was coming from the tiny desk lamp next to her bed. She was staring at the floor, her arms wrapped tightly around her knees. She looked up when I walked in, and for the first time, I saw the vulnerability in her eyes, the sadness she had been hiding. "Lily," she whispered, her voice barely audible, "I need to tell you something." My heart skipped a beat. I knew this was it. This was the moment I had been waiting for, the moment my sister would finally open up to me. But what she said next shattered me. "I've been struggling with something, and I don't know how to deal with it. I think I need help." She went on to tell me that she had been battling an eating disorder for months, that she had been hiding it from everyone, including me. She explained how, over time, she had become obsessed with losing weight, with being perfect, with fitting into a certain image. It wasn't just about how she looked anymore. It was about control. It was about feeling like she could control something when everything else in her life felt out of control. I felt like the ground beneath me had just fallen away. This was my sister, the girl who always seemed so confident, so full of life. How could I have missed this? How could I not have seen the signs? But then, as she spoke, I realized something important. I wasn't the only one who had been living behind a mask. She had been hiding something from me, just like I had been hiding something from her. For years, I had been pretending everything was okay, pretending to be the perfect, supportive sister when, in reality, Zrania, I was struggling with my own feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. I was so focused on what I didn't have, the attention, the praise, the confidence, that I never saw the pain Hannah was going through. And that's when the guilt hit me. How could I have been so blind? How could I have been so caught up in my own struggles that I didn't see the person I loved most in the world was silently suffering? How could I have not noticed the signs? I had always prided myself on being a good sister, a good friend, but in that moment I realized how much I had failed her. But I also knew one thing. I wasn't going to let her go through this alone. No matter how difficult it was, no matter how scared I was going to be there for her. I was going to help her fight this, even if it meant facing my own insecurities and fears. The next few months were a blur. We went to therapy together, talked late into the night about her struggles, about the pressure she felt to be perfect, about the fear of not being enough. Slowly, I began to understand that it wasn't about being perfect. It was about being real, about being honest with ourselves and with each other. It wasn't easy, and there were days when I wanted to give up, when I thought I couldn't take it anymore. But every time I saw Hannah fight for herself, fight for her recovery, I knew I couldn't give up on her. She was my sister, and I loved her. Over time, things started to get better. Hannah began to heal slowly but surely. She gained back some of the weight she had lost, and more importantly, she gained back her confidence. She started to find her voice again, and I realized something important. It wasn't just about the physical changes. It was about the emotional and mental transformation. She was learning to love herself, flaws and all. And through it all, I learned something too. I learned that behind closed doors, we all have secrets, things we're afraid to share. We all have struggles that we hide from the world, things we think we can't talk about. But the truth is, we don't have to hide. We don't have to carry these burdens alone. Sometimes, the hardest thing is being vulnerable, being honest, and asking for help. But when we do, we realize we're not alone. We're stronger together. Hannah and I are closer than ever now. We've been through a lot, but we've learned how to lean on each other, how to be real with each other. And while the secret I kept for so long was painful, it was also a turning point. It taught me that sometimes the most important thing we can do is show up for the people we love, even when we don't have all the answers, even when we don't know how to fix things, we can still be there, holding their hand, offering our love and support. Behind closed doors, we all have our secrets. But when we share them with the people who matter most, we begin to heal together.